Welcome back to another episode of Uploaded and Unfiltered, the podcast in which I, your host, interviews another creator in regards to their journey thus far. We're going to talk about their triumphs. They're going to give us a little bit of words of advice, and we're going to have a general overall conversations about their mindset in regards to their content thus far. Tonight, I have a special guest with me, and before I let them loose on the microphone, I'm going to read their bio and give you a little background on them before they jump on. Alexandria or Al is a digital creator who not only is a gamer, but a cosplayer, a piano coverist, and a self-proclaimed expression explorer. Let me introduce my guest for the evening, Alexandria, aka Al. How are you doing tonight?
Woo! I'm doing good, Crip. How you doing?
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. I'm glad you could make it. I'm glad we can get everything scheduled, and here we are to do this thing. Well, let me go ahead and I need to know, what have you been up to lately as far as your content goes? I'm dying to know because I the last thing I saw was a Beyonce concert recap, and I enjoyed that thoroughly. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, so right now with my content, I'm trying to get back into it. I did take the summer off to just kind of let my hair down a little bit and enjoy, like you just said, I uploaded some stuff from the Beyonce Renaissance show, which was super fun, but I'm trying to get back to like my core. And I actually want to start an educational type of series. I've been like really interested in like science fiction and artificial intelligence, so I'm gonna start doing some stuff with that too. Just anything that floats my boat. Yeah.
That sounds super intriguing because a lot of that stuff has been coming through on my TikTok feed, and I
Yeah.
get hooked. I'm just like, let me know what y'all thinking about this AI, because I got some opinions, and I can't wait. Oh, that's exciting! I can't wait to hear yours.
Yeah. If you do another podcast in the future about it, feel free to invite me. I'll come on and ramble all about it.
Hell yeah! All right, bet. Well, let's go ahead and jump into our first section of the podcast. It's the current mindset. This is where I ask my guests, what is their current mindset, thoughts, feelings, approach to their content right now? So again, the floor is yours.
Okay, sure. So I kind of want to backtrack a little bit from current to like how I got here in the first
Oh
place.
yeah, for sure, 100%.
So yeah, so when I want to say, coming out of undergraduate, I spent a lot of my time watching YouTubers on, doing video game walkthroughs, and that's what kept me company. So I found a lot of inspiration in watching those types of people, and I didn't know
Right.
that I too could be one of those people. So yeah, so fortunately, the universe sent me some people in my life to encourage me to get started in doing so. So I started my
Okay.
creation journey on
Right.
Twitch, which a lot of us do, right? Um, and so I started there, and then after being burnt out from what I like to call the gamification of it, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody on Twitch, you bleed purple. And you work and you work and work, and I did try to do that. I think at one point I was
Okay.
streaming, I think
Yeah,
3 times a
exactly.
week, almost like a job. So yeah, on top of my full-time job. So I was doing that for a while, which was cool. I'm glad I got to experience that and understand what that was about. And then after I made some adjustments in my personal life with employment, as well as just looking at my overall content, I decided to kind of take a different
Mm-hmm.
approach to see what would work for me, instead of, beating myself, upside the head to always show up,
Right.
no matter if I was, in good spirits or not. So yeah, so now I am actually taking time to see what feels right. I'm actually planning more to see what I can come out and then plaster whatever that image or whatever that visual is across
That is awesome.
multiple platforms. Yeah, so I am interested now, and like I said, I'm an expression explorer. That's how I feel about it. Like, however I'm feeling, or whatever I feel like I want to share with people, that's what I'm going to do. So that's where my current mindset is.
I like that a lot. I was gonna ask you, what is an expression explorer? I don't think did you coin that? Is that a new term?
It's a term that I use. I don't know if it's an existing term or not, but I feel like it's applicable to me. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, I've never heard it. You're the first person I heard say it, so I'm saying it's a new term and it's yours. So I like that a lot.
Okay, cool.
I definitely have noticed that your content, I guess because when you're on Twitch, most of us, if we're doing something on Twitch, is streaming. Like we're playing a game. Just
Yes.
chatting is there, but I think I did one just chatting and I didn't really like it. I was like, no, let me get back to Apex. But because of that, we don't get to see the other aspects of your personality, things you're into. And so when you started doing those TikToks, I think you started on Instagram when you were doing the piano covers, and
Yep.
you would like have different shots. And you were dressed up, and you weren't just covering the song; you were like putting a whole show behind it. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know this existed. This is dope.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. How that
Yeah, for
came
sure.
about really is just that I wanted to. So for years I had separated, myself from my personal stuff and the stuff I'm interested in from like my gaming content. So I figured, I needed to find a way to kind of bridge the gap on all of these things. So I started experimenting basically, and that's what I came up with.
That is awesome. Congrats on that. That seems like a blueprint that a lot of people should at least look at to start following because it worked.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Back to your current mindset. You said you're gonna start to dive into science fiction. What do you think the format's gonna look like?
So I want to take kind of like a educational approach with it because I'm enrolling in a class where it teaches us like how to basically communicate with AI. Since I know that it's gonna be like a huge part of our existence in the future. I
Yes.
figure it's best for me to like learn how to communicate with it now, even though it seems like it's going to be common sense. I want to make sure I know, the most efficient ways to communicate. And so I want to be able to basically teach other people what that's going to look like so that they'll be better prepared because I feel like our generation, which I'm a millennial, Crip, what are you? Are you a millennial?
I think
Okay, yeah, I think so.
yeah.
But I feel like we grew up in the technology space where we didn't have to like apply ourselves to learn new things. I don't know if that makes
True.
sense. Like it
No,
just
no,
came
that
to us.
agreed. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But I feel like with AI, I feel like that's not something that's gonna come easily to us. So I want to make sure that if I can learn something, that I'm sharing it with somebody else, so that they could be prepared.
That's smart, and I agree with when we were younger because technology was kind of growing with us. Like the stuff that
Yeah.
we really use right now, it was just second nature to us. But like you said, that AI stuff, like I started to dive into it. I'm starting to delve in because I just love technology, and I if I can
Yeah.
get my hands on it, I'm gonna play with it. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. Even like you said, how to efficiently talk to even some of these AI chatbots. Like there's a
Mhm.
specific way that you can get exactly what you want if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. But on top of that, I'm interested in learning how to like integrate AI. If I don't know if you've been noticing too, like some video editors and photographers are starting to
Mm-hmm.
use AI in their stuff. And
Yep.
because a lot of us have like small studios or limited space, I feel like that we can all use AI to our advantage too to kind of like build out our environments digitally.
Yeah, 100%. I saw an editor. It basically took a podcast
Uh huh.
and they put it into this AI program, and like 5 minutes later it was all edited, had music breaks, had a space for ads,
Wow.
and I was like, that's nutty. Of course it was a pricey, it cost a lot because it's
Mm.
new and they have a like a stranglehold on that specific type of AI, but it's out there. Like it's gonna take over quickly.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
cool.
that's what I said. I was like, I would one click this thing, please.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into our lessons learned section of the podcast. What is a lesson or lessons that you have learned because you decided one day that you wanted to create content?
Well, first lesson is to be confident. And I think we talked
Mm-hmm.
about this in passing, and even I believe you uploaded some videos on this in the past. I think a lot of people I've come across, even myself, was like afraid to kind of just put myself out there and allow myself to be seen. So I would just say, make sure that you're not putting boundaries on yourself to not be seen when you know you really want to be seen. So that's a good tidbit.
Yes.
Yeah, another one is to make sure that you're not doing something because it's the general culture around some a certain thing. So earlier I alluded to the fact that Twitch culture, or the streaming culture, has like a gamification element to it where they want you to sweat and grind it out as if we were in corporate America. And that's cool and all for people who are able to do that. But for me personally, I knew that that wasn't going to be sustainable for me in the long term. So I would say just find a process or a system that you know is going to work for you and that you can sustain for a long period of time.
Right. No, that is I wish I would have learned that earlier on as a
Me too.
streamer, because wow. Yeah, once you figure that out, you're like, I can do whatever I want and still grow as a creator. Let me
Hmm.
start opening up these avenues.
Another thing I guess I would say is uh, just be aware that, like I said earlier too, that the universe will sometimes send you people that are an energetic match for you. So, like, I took your invitation, for example, as, hey, Crip is doing something cool. He wants me to be a part of it. We are energetically matched to do said thing. So, I just think it's important to recognize that. And one thing that I took away from Issa Rae, who is a phenomenal creator, was that
Yes.
whenever you're working with or you're trying to climb, make sure that you don't overlook people who are next to you doing the same thing. So I think that that's an important tidbit, and I'm happy to meet people from around the world that I wouldn't have otherwise met had I not taken a chance and recognized that we are an energetic match.
Right? Yo, that is
Yeah.
dope. I never heard her say that, but that makes so much sense. And I think part of this podcast is that for me, like reaching out to people and like, hey, I think what you're doing is dope, and I would love to just have a conversation with you, and so we can share this with other people. Because
Yeah.
I think for me personally, the more I talk to other people about the mindset behind the creator, or I see other people who have been successful talking about
Hmm.
what they were feeling as they were moving up, like that just motivates me more to push harder and go after what I'm actually trying to achieve.
You better. You better.
I plan to. That is dope. Well, there you go. If you ever thought that you can jump into creation and not learn anything, of course you're going to learn how to market, and you're going to learn how
Yeah.
to network and all that stuff. But there are things, life lessons that you can take out of this. And I think number one, like you said, being confident in whatever you're doing goes a very long
Hmm.
way.
Hmm.
Dope. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into our next section, words of advice. Do you have any advice for anyone out there who is looking to create content?
Yeah, I do. Just make sure that you are comfortable with you and understand that your outcomes are not always going to be how you envision them. And, perfection is an illusion, it's not going to happen. So, and I'm a
Yeah.
planner, and I was telling Crip before we even started recording that, I had my notes, and, I tend to overthink and want to know, step one, step two, and step three. But I've realized throughout content creation and like exploring your creativity and all that, that it's no way that you're going to be able to account for everything, plan for everything, and nothing's going to be perfect, and that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many times where I'm about to start streaming and my OBS isn't working, or my camera doesn't want to turn on for some
Yeah,
reason.
it happens.
Like like yesterday it happened. I was like, okay, camera's not turning on, and old me would have been like, I guess I'm not streaming today. And I was like, you know what? We ain't no camera today. I'm good.
Right.
Let's go. We
Yep.
had fun, so Yeah, definitely be confident in yourself and know what you want, and don't waver from that. I think that's a huge piece of advice that people need to take away in all aspects of life, not just content creation.
Absolutely.
All right, so I also want to give a piece of advice. I usually don't, but over the course of the last, I would say, month of me making this podcast and editing it and
Yeah.
marketing and getting people like on the podcast, when I first started, there was a little bit of fear, like not fear, but hesitancy. I was like, oh, like real shy about doing whatever I was trying to do. And now
Mm.
I can't even remember what that feels like. Like it's became routine, it became a habit. And so I guess my word of advice
Mhm.
is if you have something that you are thinking about doing and you're hesitating for whatever reason, like just do it. Like push, get through that little hesitancy spot. It might be a week, it might be a few days, but once you get through it, you're not even remember what it feels like, and you're going to be on the other
Yep.
side of actually creating and doing what you want to do. So make that happen because it. I'm glad I did it when I did it because I could have
Yeah,
definitely
it's
put
so
this off for
easy. I
another
get
two
it.
years
Okay,
easily.
one more thing. If you are struggling to find out what kind of content you want to create or what creation looks like for you too, one thing I had to do was look back at my childhood to figure out the stuff that I was actually interested in and
Mhm.
kind of bring that to where I am now. And that's how I got, those cosplays and the piano covers and whatever. But I feel like that's like a life tip that you can do. Always look back and see what you're interested in when you were coming up and then apply it to yourself as an adult.
Oh my gosh. Like somebody should pay you for that piece of advice. I
Please.
never even thought about that. Holy crap. That's wow. Well, thank you for giving me that piece of advice. I'm about to wreck my childhood and see what was going on. Be like, what was I interested in when
What
I was
kind of
little?
things did you like to do when you were a child?
I mean, honestly, it's technology. I love tinkering with like computers and Walkmans and VCRs. I would take them things apart just to see how they work,
Really?
put them back to yeah. And my like shout out to my parents for allowing me to take apart a piece of electronic. Who knows how much that shit costs and like put it back together because I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. So
That's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I'm definitely a tech nerd. Like I'm going to get to the point where Samsung and all of them are gonna be sending me their phones, like they be sending everybody else their phones because I need to get my hands on them first.
Yes. Send me your whatever you don't need. I'll
Yeah,
take
right. I'm like, hey Al, I don't need this.
it.
That is dope. Al, thank you for that amazing piece of advice. I know it's gonna help a lot of people, and damn, I can't believe I never thought about that until now.
Yeah, I recently had a couple of people that I've met or known in the past to tell me that because they saw me like put myself out there, it gave them inspiration to do the same, and that kind of took me off guard because I'm not the type of person, to look for that. But because they told me that, kind of like just put it in perspective, like you don't know how small the seed that you're gonna plant for somebody else's garden. So just be aware of
Mm-hmm.
that.
Facts. Oh my god, this is why I do this, man. Because when we get people who been doing this for a while, when they start talking and like this is what I've noticed in this industry, this is what I've been feeling. Like
Yeah.
amazing things come out. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank
Thank
you for that.
you for allowing the
Nah,
space to talk about this kind of stuff.
my pleasure. I'm glad that I could finally get over my procrastination to get it started. So,
You did
uh,
it.
yay, woo! Now I gotta keep pushing, keep pushing.
Yeah.
Um, well, with that, we have come to our last section of the podcast. It's the call to action, where I allow my guests to leave a call to action on this last piece of content to do whatever you want them to do. So the floor is yours.
Thank you again. And everybody, my name is Alexandria. I go by Alexandria's Opus or even Al Rollo on the interwebs. You can find more of my projects and my stuff on my website, which is Alexandria's Opus. That's AlexandriasOpus.com, where you can see all of my projects, all of my covers and everything. And yeah, that's what I got.
If you know anybody else out there, any creators or aspiring creators who can get some value or some ideas from conversations like this and more, please share the podcast with them. It's the only way they're going to hear it is if you share it with them, and then they hear it, then they're going to share it with somebody else, and it's a whole like effect, domino effect. Trust me, I've seen it. It happens. And leave me a review on Spotify and hopefully Apple Music if I can figure out why they decided to stop refreshing. Other than that, I appreciate y'all. Thank you again, Al, for blessing me with this conversation. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, Crip, for having me.
No problem at all. And I will. I'm already gonna let you know now. You're probably gonna be a guest again in the future. So look out for that. Other than that, I'm gonna let y'all go out there in the podcast world. I appreciate you again. Protect your mental, keep creating content, and I'll talk to y'all on the next one.
Bye. Bye.